field as number 1. This would be number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 of 25.
6 of 25.
At least 25.
And so that was the premise when we started, is that we would do this for 25 years. And I'll have you reflect on that in just a second. But this is a big jump for us this year because we're moving from the Four Seasons to the Hilton, and we're able to actually have the number of bodies to match the names. So we have 360 entrepreneurs.
And that'll be it. We'll be permanently capped there to the physical event. I'm actually dematerializing, demonetizing, and democratizing it with a digital version of A360 for young entrepreneurs just getting started. My goal is to, really reach 1 million entrepreneurs, because I think entrepreneurs are the means by which you solve any problem. If I wanted to solve, global warming, the economy, whatever, it's through entrepreneurs have a problem.
Yeah. So there's a lot of very, very interesting aspects of Abundance 360, but I think for the last couple of years, the real magic has been in your convergences. Could you just sort of explain?
Yeah. So we spend the entire year getting ready for these 3 days in January, and I'm literally on it every single day. And I'd like to, actually, I don't know if you know all of what we've got planned for this year, but may I take a second and talk about that in context of the convergences as well?
Let me see if I can say yes or no. Go ahead.
So we start on a Sunday, and one of the things I love doing is I review the entire past year for all the tech breakthroughs and really prioritize them, and then do a session called Proof for Living 2018. And so on that day, it's a conversation about the velocity of change. Every year is really measurably picking up. And this year I'm going to be doing that Proof for Living 2018, but in conversation with everybody in the audience. So when we put forward a breakthrough, the question is going to be, okay, who's excited about this because it's going to disrupt their company? Or who's excited about this because they want to use this technology? And really get into a conversation with all the members about each of these major breakthroughs, so you can see how someone else plans to use it or how someone else thinks it's going to disrupt their business. Because I think unless these technologies actually are internalized, like this shit's gonna be amazing, or as we said in the trucking business, what we should. I need to disrupt myself and reinvent myself very quickly. One of the things I'm also doing this year in partnership with Tony Robbins, and we're going to be doing every year. So I'm not concerned about AI as the terminator. I am concerned about the impact on technological unemployment. And so we're going to be doing a global town hall, broadcasting worldwide this year for the first time, and every year, looking at what's going on in the field of technological unemployment. Like, what are the metrics? What's going on right now? What's going on in AI and robotics? Sort of metricizing that, and then with the A360 community, the digital community, and the world watching, talk about what do we do about it? Because we need to be thinking about this today before it hits us, and it will hit very hard inside the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. We had an entrepreneur in the program yesterday, and this is the first one, and I'm giving him a lot of personal time because he's the first of my entrepreneurs to actually link up with Watson. So he's, he actually has created, there's a team at IBM that's working with his team as the first one. So I'm really interested in from the kind of thinking you have to do to actually do teamwork with AI. It's going to give me a chance because I've been in 10 times for about 4 years, and it's really interesting what he's doing with. So I said I will approach this as I do all things with complete confident ignorance.
So that's on Sunday. I'm also going to be introducing something called the Impact Pledge. You guys might be familiar with Buffett and Gates's Giving Pledge, and I'm not happy with the Giving Pledge, which says I give half my money away before I die. I think it's still a very passive way of looking at philanthropy. So I'm looking this year at doing something that I'm passionate about, which is launching the Impact Pledge. which is getting people actually to call their shot, call their moonshot, and say, this is the impact I'm going to make. I'm going to solve women and girls abuse or safety in this country. I'm going to bring clean water to this country. One of our A360 members had a moonshot he chose, and he's building a $2 billion wind farm. And he came up with the moonshot last year, and he's on track to actually launch it this coming year. So it's, it's tracking companies, philanthropies, individuals who are making massive impact pledges and really showing the world that that's what you can do. At some point, you made enough money where you just can't buy more boats or houses or planes. What do you do with that money? And the way we make the world a world of abundance is by just knocking down problem after problem after problem, which, by the way, make great business opportunities as well. So we'll be launching the Impact Pledge at A360 this year. You'll hear more about that. Monday, we have our first Convergence Catalyzer, and I love these, as you do, Dan. I bring 3 world experts on stage, and we talk about what's going on in their field, in this case, in the near term. So I'm bringing the 3 topics we're doing are material sciences, and I'm bringing the CTO of Applied Materials, the top company in the world, and he's the top technologist in the world, of what's going on in material sciences. Every single one of our worlds or companies are going to be affected by material sciences, which is, we don't realize it, but it's exploding onto the scene, especially with AI affecting that. Then I'm bringing Dean Kamen, who's one of the top roboticists in the world. And then I'm bringing Ramez Nam on the future of energy. So we're talking about the impact of material sciences, energy, and robotics. And the goal is, as those people are talking to each other, and then you are asking them questions, it's to see unforeseen intersections, right? I'm clear about, you can be an expert in energy or materials or robots, but it's the convergence of those, it's the unholy alliances create of that, which will be creating new businesses. And my goal is unfair advantage, where you see a new business idea, whether it's in the snow business or it's in the trucking business, logistics business, whatever it might be, coming out of the combinations of these things. We're going to be doing a module on 60s, 60s thinking, how do you digitize your products and services and your ideas. And then that Monday afternoon is a session on longevity. I'm going to be hitting on what are the current breakthroughs going on in longevity. So in stem cells and cellular medicine, you've been hearing about the work out of Stanford on Youngblood experiments. We're going to be talking about senescent cells. So it's something I'm very passionate about, tracking and getting to know all the top scientists in the world who are going to help this young man reach
156. But I will.
You have to reconsider that one.
No. Well, the accessible possible.
Yes.
Peter. I mean, there's lots of time to redo this. But I would say that I think right now in the podcast world, your 700 years, my 156, representing the 2 partners on the tag team, is probably the cutting edge right now.
Yeah. Well. And I was with Ray Kurzweil 2 days ago for the opening of the Singularity University Global Solutions Program, our summer program. And we're talking about his concept, which I love, called longevity escape velocity, which is there will be a point probably about 20 years from now that for every year that you're alive, science is extending your life more than a year. Right? So there's a point at which you reach escape velocity, which makes the notion of living to 157, 56, 156. Don't overextend you. Which makes the idea of living to 156 or 700 ridiculous, because if you can live that long, you can live forever.
Yeah. Right. Make sure you have some friends.
But in a very real, very scientific, very what do you do right now conversation. Yeah. It is one of the modules is on longevity. Am I bringing the smartest scientists, thinkers to the planet there? For you to hear them ask the questions, see what you can do for yourself. At the end of the day, longevity is the largest marketplace in the world, right? There's some $60 trillion locked up in private wealth, and who's not going to spend a significant portion of that to give themselves an extra 30 or 40 healthy years? And for those of you in the finance business, insurance business, it changes all of your numbers significantly right now. So if you start to believe that in fact we're going to start extending healthy lifespans 30 to 40 years, which we are, you need to understand that and start thinking about how that impacts your calculations, what you're going to do, how you're going to plan for your next career or retirement or your customers and so forth.
All right. Last point.
Last one.
Yeah. How many of you are intrigued by what Peter's talking about here? Yeah, and the thing to do, you go there and there's going to be 5 or 6 things which change your approach. And I'll just say one thing, then it's my 156. So it marks 30 years this summer that I've actually been having 156 as my goal. And people will say, well, we think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And I say, well, I won't be disappointed, and I'll be gone. It's all the messes I leave behind that's the problem, but who cares? They do what they want. But I will say this, especially when I hit 70, and now I'm 73, having this thought in my mind for 30 years has radically changed how I'm experiencing today. Yeah. And I notice the other 70-year-olds, they're blinking out. One thing is if you want to compete with other human beings, wait till you're 70. It's easy to knock them off. when you're 70, some of them can't get out of the chair. And, and everything. But, I never give any thought, of the normal mortality tables or the actuarial tables. And because I have had this goal, and then I keep plugging in, your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for. My brain's looking for anything that will support 156 years, And so I look at life totally different today because I've had this framework for the last 30 years, It's really interesting. And I had someone who came back to the program after 20 years, and he looked at me and he said, you look younger today than you did 20 years ago. And I said, well, I'm thinking younger, than I am. So I'm dispensing with all the usual birthdays, like 75's coming up, doing nothing about that, 80 doing. But in 2022, on my birthday, I'm having a halfway party. I'm 78, it's halfway to 156, and maybe you'll come and we can talk at the party about,
sure,
all the things that are being discovered about thinking this way.
Yeah, birthdays are important.
Actually, the next day, we have birthday, 19th and 20th of May.
There's a bunch of other things, but one of the things I'm also proud about at this A360 is you've heard me talk about moonshots, right? I think moonshots are very important. It's all about the mindset of moonshots. Well, the guy who coined the term moonshot and runs Google's moonshot factory, Astro Teller, is coming to actually work with the entire A360 membership about how do you set a moonshot, how do you get your team to think about a moonshot, how do you fail more rapidly, how does he do it? And so Astro will be my guest. We'll be talking about moonshots, how to create them, how to run them.
Yeah, the Google presentation on teamwork and innovation last year was, I think everybody there thought that was one of the really great takeaways.
I also have Sebastian Thrun, who ran Google X before Astro coming. We're talking about a whole session on education, educate your kids for the future, educate your employees for the future, educate yourself for the future. It's going to be awesome.
Great.
Anyway,
yeah. Good.